Welcome to the ATA Podcast, where each month we bring you news and insights from the American Translators Association.
Let's get started with a few quick announcements.
The Nordic Division is a home within ATA for translators and interpreters working with the languages of the Nordic region. The division aims to provide a setting where members can network and share information relevant for their work and professional development. Join us by emailing division@atanet.org and become part of a small and friendly division. Are you an SPD member yet? The Spanish Language Division has Intercambios, a quarterly newsletter filled with insightful articles about the Spanish language. And then there's Espalista, our active listserv, and the SPD podcast. Follow us on social media or visit our website at www.ataspd.org and click the Keep Me Updated button to keep up with all that the SPD has to offer.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on the ATA podcast. I am Adam Sachs, your host, and I am here today with President of the American Translators Association, Geoff Koby, and President-elect Andy Benzo. The two of them are joining me today to revive something that we haven't done in a couple of years on the ATA podcast, which is called the ATA Halftime Show, where we're going to talk about what has been going on for the first 6 months of 2025 and what we're thinking about for the remaining 6 months of 2025. So Geoff Koby is both a freelance translator and a professor of translation studies at Kent State University in Ohio. ATA certified in German to English and Dutch to English. He focuses professionally on legal, business, and financial translation, but also teaches all types of translation. Geoff started volunteering with ATA as a German to English grader, served on the certification committee as secretary and then chair, served on the ATA board for 6 years, then became president of AFTI, ATA's nonprofit foundation. He will serve as ATA president until the ATA conference in Boston this October. And Andy Benzo is a distinguished professional in law and linguistics with over 35 years of experience in English to Spanish translation. She holds degrees in law and translation from prestigious institutions in Argentina and the United States. She taught legal translation at UCSD and has been a member of the American Translators Association since 1999. Andy has held various leadership positions, and she currently serves as president-elect. She is dedicated to professional standards, actively engages in language development, collaborates on standards with organizations such as ASTM, and represents the U.S. as an expert for ISO. Furthermore, she conducts seminars and courses on the intersection of AI, ethics, language, and law, as well as U.S. law and civil law at both national and international levels. Geoff, Andy, thank you two so much for joining me today.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Adam. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yes, we're glad to be here.
So start off 2025, as I'm sure we can all appreciate, has been a very eventful year in the language service sector in many respects. From AI remaining a hot topic and growing in many ways we are still beginning to see, to some consequential policies that have come about after the election cycle in the U.S. Can you give us an overview of what has been going on the last 6 months and what has been at the forefront of your work, Geoff, as the ATA president, and Andy as from your end as the president-elect so far this year?
Sure, happy to. So what we did do already last fall is we had appointed a task force to develop a statement on AI for ATA. We have an older statement that was on the website from 2023, but that definitely needed to be updated because things move so fast in that field. So recently, we've been working with the board and the AI task force, and we just revised and finalized a new statement on AI, officially coming from ATA, and that was posted to the ATA website this month. So if you look for our ATA statement, we are trying to express that, AI is here to stay, and we understand the technological aspects of it. We understand where a human needs to be involved, and we are, of course, are supporting our members. I encourage every member to go and take a look at that statement. So that's what we've been doing on AI. In terms of some of these actions that have taken place in the last 6 months, as president, it's my job to work with the Advocacy Committee and the Public Relations Committee to respond to any kind of issues that arise. And one of the first things we did this year was we sent a letter to the new administration in support of the Afghan interpreters, who, of course, served very nobly, really, in Afghanistan, helping our troops as interpreters, and were promised a place in America, the possibility of immigration. So ATA I signed a letter on behalf of ATA supporting the Afghan interpreters. More recently, with the executive order on English as the official language, which also rescinded language access protections that were included in an earlier executive order, our advocacy committee coordinated with the advocacy committees of other language mediation organizations like NAGIT, et cetera, and we co-signed a letter focusing on the issues there and advocating for limited English proficiency individuals and the needs of our members as interpreters, particularly also translators. So that's been going on. Otherwise, in other news this year, we are looking at some financial concerns. Membership is down somewhat, and our development costs for our new computer system were higher than expected. So that, and thinking about ways to make the conference less costly, those are financial concerns that we're monitoring. We're also working with the staff at ATA headquarters to improve our computer system and our directory after it was implemented last year. And what I think is most exciting is we have started a strategic planning initiative. This May, we just spent a day with the ATA board working with a strategic planning consultant and developing updated strategic goals for ATA. The last strategic plan that we know of for ATA was adopted in 1997. And it's kind of been, it's not that we haven't been doing any planning, but a real formal strategic planning process kind of got lost in the sand. So
yeah, a lot can happen in 28 years.
Right?
Yeah.
So we hired an excellent strategic planner, and we spent a day working through our mission statement, our goals, and developed a series of areas that we are going to focus on in our strategic plan. That draft is under review right now, and we expect to finalize a brand new strategic plan for ATA at the August board meeting. And moving forward, we expect that the board's efforts will be moving to focus more strongly on the visioning and leadership so that we can make sure that everything we do is in harmony with our statement, our mission statement, and our goals. That's what I've been up to. Andy?
Thank you. Well, what I'm going to say now, the president-elect is the conference organizer. So that's the most exciting thing. We had more than 300 proposals this year. So they all come to us. We put them in everybody, when they send the proposal, they choose the category. Then the divisions choose their distinguished speakers. Half of the division get a distinguished speaker, and the other half is going to be next year. And that's how the cycle we decided. And then they have to be approved. And then we send all the proposals to the different reviewers. And then they all come, and now I have them all. And I'm finishing this. And then mid-June, we're going to have the conference schedule. And we're going to start the Boston ATA 66. So I'm very excited. We're going to have a great conference.
Excellent. So that actually, I think that's a good segue into my next question. Like maybe we can start with you on this question, Andy. Like let's let's talk about ATA 66. It's creeping right up on us. Can you talk about what's in store and what to expect in Boston this year? What are you most excited about for it? And I mean, kind of thinking about you like if you can maybe talk a little bit more about the kind of the landscape of the proposals you received. Like, is 300 kind of an unusually high number, like about normal, and kind of I think we've like in my experience going to the conference the past couple years, there have been like a couple different approaches in terms of like micro talks and like more 30-minute versus hour talks. Like how's everything going to look when we go to Boston in a few months?
Well, first of all, it's Boston, so
Hmm.
nothing can go wrong. Boston is a beautiful city to host a conference because we have to understand that the experience is going to a conference an experience. It's not just that you go to learn. It's not a webinar. It's not going to conference involves, especially ATA, which I call the Disneyland for linguists, because we're
Hmm.
so happy to see each other. We see, 1,000 of your colleagues that you talk or you Zoom or you saw in another conference, but it's like really getting together. And I always, I wrote in LinkedIn a couple of years ago, it's the only place on earth that you can go and happily talk about a coma for 30 minutes and people are enthralled to hear you about it. And why? Because we are, and this is something that is our next um, message in the world. We are about meaning. We're not about words.
Hmm.
And that is what is lost in this AI thing because AI looks fluent. That doesn't mean that it's accurate. So that's
Yeah.
part of the conversation that is coming the next couple of years. But particularly because of that, because I think that we need to know AI. I'm a very fervent, passionate people that we have to use AI not to translate, but to do everything else, to research, to improve, because it can get you faster to the results. And it's not going back. We're not going back. Technology never goes down. So we have to learn how to use it. And I think that I talk, giving my talks, it's like a computer. When computer came and we weren't, I wasn't, but I heard they were on the typewriters. And you go to a computer, it's such a different world. The learning curve is so high. But at the same time, now we do things in a computer, in the phone, which is a mini
Yeah.
computer, that
Hmm.
we never thought about. So I think that this is a changing paradigm in the world, not just for our profession, but for everyone, that you have to get to know this new technology and incorporate it in your life. However you want it, not in the same way all of us, but you have to know the technology. So going to that, I think that we are the experts. And to be experts, you need an hour session. So all sessions going to be an hour.
Okay.
And I remember when I studied ATA and, then became certified and all that. But I remember when I started, you get out of the conference with so much knowledge
Hmm.
that you say,
Yeah.
well, the investment, good. So that's what I aim to do. And we are in an advanced, every session is very advanced. Of course, they're for new professionals. Of course, there are going to be some for others. But the thing that the most people who come is people who've been in the profession and who are investing in this. And of course, you have a lot of things. You have the networking, which is phenomenal. The feeling that it energizes you for the next year. Learning what is the last thing the next thing you need to learn. Associating yourself with, because a lot of couple of things that are coming now to view, people are working in peer groups. Hey, I study this. Why don't we study together? Hey, what do we? And that is the world that I think we're gonna face, collaborating with each other. I would never, coming from Argentina, I never thought, oh, I'm going to be working in a document with somebody in Switzerland. So at the same time, I mean, that is, if you think about it, it's like such a big leap from when we started, or 26 years ago, I've been in the ATA, to now. We are doing things in such a different world. Anyway.
Yeah, and it also, I mean, what's interesting is that you have that benefit of like being able to do more remotely, but it also, I think it speaks to what you were saying at the beginning about the conference, about giving us a new appreciation for being able to really meet with all of these people who we only inter with whom we only interact via email or video, to actually meet them in person and experience like the the dynamic of just live conversation and live discussions and presentations and what we can gain from that in the moment.
And
So
also, if
yeah,
I may, one more minute, and then I let Geoff talk. Sorry. It's
it's
that
fine.
I think that we are such a change in paradigm for our profession that we have to accept that we're grieving. We're grieving the profession that we would have liked to have if it wasn't for AI. And that is fine. We have to make a moment, a silence for, 1 minute of silence, and then move on. Because the profession that we wanted, that I had the pleasure and the privilege to work on with the books, as you can see, I'm a book, I love my books and my dictionaries and all that, that's not going to exist.
Hmm.
But we will be forever as specialists, as linguists, as language experts. So that we have to grieve, that we wanted to, the profession we wanted to have to the one we will have, but we will have one for sure. That is a reality. And we have to be super specialized. And that's why I thought this conference has to be 1 hour that you get out of that hour and you really take a lot of notes.
Amazing.
And,
And
and I'm sorry. And another thing, and I need to shut up. I'm sorry.
It's
Sorry.
fine.
Because
No,
this year,
appreciate the enthusiasm.
this year we're going to have a compilation of all the presentations. So it's not going to be a Word document or like those, we used to have.
proceedings.
Thank you. He always tells me proceedings with all the written. We're just gonna have whoever's gonna speak, gonna send their PowerPoints or however they're gonna do it, and we're gonna have that in a compilation. Not we're not gonna edit all. We're not gonna but at least after the conference, you're gonna have 159 hours or 126 hours of because they we're not asking the DS, but of what was said in that session that always were complaining, oh, I went to this session and I missed the other one. So you're
Hmm.
not going to be in the other one, but at
Oh,
least you have
wow.
something to look at
That's
after.
tremendous. As someone who like, I take advantage of like jumping between sessions because there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on, and we can't be two places at once. So like
Right.
the possibility of still being able to get some of the information from like simultaneous sessions, that sounds really exciting.
That's what we used to do. It was called the ATA Proceedings. It was published after every conference, but that was in a day when we didn't have PowerPoint. Now,
Okay.
what we're saying is send us your PowerPoints and your handouts, and we'll just
Hmm.
compile it. You'll get something. You won't obviously get the
Sure.
whole presentation because we certainly can't afford to record everything,
Yeah.
but at least you get the printed materials.
So yeah, Geoff, I realize Andy's the conference coordinator at this point, but
Well,
what is your level of involvement
well,
as the
I'm
current president?
I am
He does
involved.
everything else.
Yeah, right. Everything is not conference, and some of the conference stuff as well. Like, actually, the board is involved in setting the conference registration fee.
Hmm.
And then we talk about how we sort of make that one number turn into a bunch of different registration fees, that kind of thing. Andy and I, along with the executive director and another couple of staff members, did the site visit in February.
Hmm.
So we all flew to Boston and inspected the hotel. So we actually were physically in the hotel looking at the spaces, figuring out where we're going to put the exhibit hall, we're going to put the general session, where the session rooms will be. It's a really, really nice venue. The Westin Boston, I always forget the name, Westin Boston
Before Boston.
Seaport District, right? It's the
Okay.
Seaport District. So it's right next door to their convention center in an area that 10 years ago, when we signed the contract, it was very much kind of a rundown area undergoing redevelopment. And now it is a thriving district with lots of restaurants, and it's close
Wow.
to the walking distance to the water. So a lot of waterfront restaurants that we can enjoy.
Awesome.
depending on the weather. Um, so there's the outdoors to get out. There's plenty of venues for division dinners because the divisions are now going to be planning, the
Sure.
off-site dinners, which I'm looking forward to. Meeting your old friends. It's
Yeah.
it's not just Disneyland. It's like a family reunion
Yeah.
every year.
Hmm.
So the sessions are going to be solid. The dinners are going to be, there's great venues for that. The district, the hotel itself has a great big lobby. We have most of the hotel, I actually all of the hotel pretty much. Um, so, one end is where all the session rooms will be and the general sessions. The other end has more sessions and the exhibit hall. And of course, for ATA, something we can't be without, there's a hotel bar in the middle of the lobby that we
Yes.
will all be
Huge
enjoying.
lobby.
Huge lobby, great venue for meeting and networking and so forth. Um, the location within that district is really good. The airport is right across the bay, and there's a tunnel, and there's a dedicated shuttle bus. If you can take an Uber, or you can hop on a free bus that will take you to close to the hotel. It's 5 minutes walk from the bus stop. So, it's just going to be absolutely a great venue. It's all in one place. Hotel rooms are very nice as well. The building is actually it's only about 11 or 12 years old. It's a pretty new facility. So just generally a good place all the way around.
Yeah. And if I may add to that, please bring your water bottles because every floor has a station to fill your water bottle in the floor. So I thought it was phenomenal. And another thing I want to talk about, I'm bringing a keynote speaker this year. And I hope that we can continue with that more later on, but that's I'm not going to say who keynote speaker this year, ATA conference.
So as of when this episode is being recorded, the keynote speaker has not yet been announced. So
No.
if you're listening to this now and you don't know who that is, keep an eye out or look it up. Sounds like it's going to be someone very exciting. So one thing that happens while we're still on the topic of the conference, one thing that happens at every conference are the elections. Can you two talk about that process for our listeners, how we as members can be involved and what it means for us as members and as an organization?
Sure. So first thing I want to say is that any ATA member who wants to vote in the election should make sure that they are a voting member. Members can vote even if they are not certified. Not everybody realizes this, but there's a process called active membership review, which is an online process for working translators, interpreters, and individuals professionally engaged in work closely related to translation and or interpreting. That's the requirement for being an active member. So members can log on at atanet.org and click on the Become a Voting Member link. They need to do that soon so that they're actually voting members before the election. The slate of candidates, which is coming from the Nominating and Leadership Development Committee, is in the process of being finalized as we speak. So we will have 2 candidates for each director position and also 2 candidates for secretary, treasurer, and president-elect this year. Also, members can get involved by, if they wanted to nominate someone else who's not on the slate, they'll have a few weeks after the slate is announced to submit nominations by petition. That's available. Moving forward with the slate of whoever is nominated and gets on the list, there'll be information available for members to read. Candidates will have a column that's published in the ATA Chronicle. Traditionally, our candidates have spoken at the meeting of voting members on Thursday at the conference. And if I'm not mistaken, that was also live streamed. I could be wrong. It wasn't, but it could be this year. So members who attend the conference had a chance to hear the candidates speak before voting. But that's something that's still in discussion, whether we will have that at the conference or whether we will have that before at some earlier time, that we have some kind of live forum that people can log into. And we're still in discussion about exactly how that will happen. And finally, all members, all ATA voting members can vote by proxy. It's not necessary to attend the conference to vote, so look for that proxy in the mail.
Thank you for that information, Geoff. Now let's turn to membership. Geoff, you mentioned that membership numbers are being a little bit below target at this point. So what are some things ATA is doing in 2025 to retain current members and attract new ones?
Well, the good news is with our new computer system, we can have real-time information about how many members we have. So I looked this morning, and our current membership is 6,067 members, which is up 5 from yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So we're still growing. But this is down by several hundred from where we were this time last year. We don't know why for sure. You never can be exactly sure. But it's possibly due to the influence of the AI situation. People are not choosing to renew because they're not having as much business. We don't know for sure. Our strategic plan, which is currently in draft form, calls for enhancing and expanding our high quality educational opportunities for our members. So for our current members, I would say look for expanded offerings coming soon in areas such as AI and language specific topics. Andy can talk more about that in a second. And finally, I'll say ATA has a marketing team, and they are reaching out to potential new members in a variety of ways. And part of our strategic plan is to reach out to different groups that are usually not represented in ATA. So affiliated areas such as lawyers that may benefit from being members of ATA. But I'll let Andy talk about the ideas for educational sessions.
Yes. What I have in mind is we're gonna do a ATA training center, and it's gonna be focused on AI. So how to do a prompt, because everybody thinks that just one sentence and that AI is gonna automatically do it for you. And I think that the only way to empower our members and to help them really grow is to help them learn at in-home, in our in-house, not in-home, in-house. The training center, we're thinking after 2 or 3 webinars that we have, like a micro certificate, ATA can do a micro certificate in prompt, or a lot of ideas exploring. We need to, in order for us to be specialists, we need to know. We need to know about subject matter very, very deeply, and AI, because AI is speeding things up. Since November 30, 2022, we've been living in a different reality. So the main thing is specialize, specialize, specialize. We're going to be always here, because just because ChatGPT can write some words, that doesn't make it an author.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to remember that. We are the specialists. Communication is not code. It's a human act. And as a human act has a lot of nuances, and a lot of that AI doesn't have it. So we shouldn't be afraid. We have to have the moment of grieving, 1 minute of silence, and move on and learn the new technology to incorporate it in whatever is in your thing. Everybody is going to have a different way of incorporating AI in their workflow, in their research, in their whatever. But I know that I do research now much better than before.
Very interesting. This touches on a couple of topics that are part of my next couple of questions. Geoff, you have brought up a couple of times on this interview about the new association management system. I wonder if there's anything else you want to share about how that rollout has gone, and certain things. I mean, one example that you gave about like the added value of it is like seeing live membership, like the increase of memberships live. Like, what are some other things that we are starting to gain from it in terms of enhanced data collection and improved user experience?
One customization we did work on right away was the certification program, which needed the ability to track exams as they were sent to and from the graders. And so our consultants built certification a dashboard, one of these computer dashboards that managed this and all the other certification functions. So that meant that all of the certification functions are in our AMS, and we don't have separate systems that aren't talking to each other. And as a convenience for graders upload their certification exam markings straight into the system. It's stored there, and they don't even have to submit an invoice, which is really nice for the graders. But that's just an example of one of these automations that reduces the staff time that we're spending at headquarters on certification. It improves the user experience for the graders who are doing it. And that kind of thing, that kind of dashboard, it's a complex customization. Moving forward over the next couple of years, we are likely to see the implementation of what we call community hubs, where a division or a committee will have its own workspace and its own dashboard, and they can see the progress of projects and things like that. Those kinds of things. There's a list of want-to-dos that we're going to be improving the AMS. And it's categorized based on urgency and need. There are things we need to fix first, and then there are some must-haves and some nice-to-haves that we're going to be projecting out over several years, really. We're going to gradually enhance the implementation systematically, deliberately, but because the costs of getting it started were higher than we expected, we're going to be slowing down our development a little bit to keep the costs down so that we can manage. Otherwise, if we spent all our money on that, we would have a very nice AMS computer system and no money to do member benefits. So we're trying to balance that.
Yeah.
What we're seeing though is the data accuracy is much improved. The timeliness is much improved. So our executive committee and our board have access to real-time reports. They show things like current and accurate membership numbers, a breakdown by membership type, by member country, by language pair. We can pull detailed information on a live report anytime on ATA certification. So if you needed to know whether we had any members who were certified in, say, French into Italian or Russian into Spanish, we have a few who have these kind of unusual combinations. We can look those things up. Also, we have a listing of our corporate members. We have new corporate membership categories. We can look up who's in which category, that kind of thing. I did want to talk about the directory because it's been a little bit glitchy sometimes. The directory is not actually part of the AMS. It's pulling the data from the AMS once a day and loading it as the directory. And this month, we just rolled out a revised search interface that we think is more meeting the needs of clients and our members for looking people up. So that should improve the user experience, and we're still consulting with some of our stakeholders who are saying, well, that's nice, but we'd like to tweak it a little bit more. Again, this is a cost versus benefit balancing act that we will make the directory as nice as we can make it. It just might take a little bit longer time. Finally, about the directory, we'd like to encourage all of our members who want to be listed in the directory to check their own listing online and to update it as necessary. Go and look at your own listing. Many of our members have not yet uploaded a photograph. And research shows that when a client is looking for a translator, having an attractive photograph will get you more attention than having just a blank avatar kind of thing. So that's a great way to highlight their listing. And it would be important to check your listing for accuracy. Also, if members want their email addresses displayed in their listing, that's something they have to opt in for because of privacy. We cannot just automatically include everyone's email address. There is a contact form that's automatically included right now that we are still reviewing. But if you want your email address on there, go in, log into your My Account area at atanet.org, click on the Update Language Services Directory profile, and find the heading that says directory email. Opt in to display your email. I mean, we're trying to make it as easy as possible and put in their email address. So those are the kinds of things we've been working on. We're seeing improvements, but many of those improvements are not in the member experience. But please do go log in and explore your My Account area to see what options are available to you. On the back end, the ATA staff is also enjoying access to all of this information.
Yeah, and indirectly, it's going to, I mean, certainly to some degree in the short term and certainly in the long term, we would anticipate some of these things on the back end having a positive impact on the user experience as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean,
moving forward, yes,
yeah.
it's just going to take some time.
So I wanted this next question, I'd like to direct primarily at Andy because Andy, you and I have both been part of the ATA Professional Development Committee. You two may know that I found my way onto hosting this podcast by getting involved in continuing professional development when I joined ATA. So I'm curious to hear some insights you have, both as someone who's been actively on that committee and now as from the position of president-elect, about what ATA headquarters is doing to improve access to continuing professional development tools. How are we making webinars more successful in terms of reach and attendance? What kinds of learning programs, workshops, and tools are on ATA's radar? And I know the committee has been hard at work trying to offer programs and market them effectively. Can you tell us a bit more about how those efforts have been going?
Right. Well, one of the things we're going to ramp up the amount of webinars per month. One of the benefits of being, and I want to say that we are not the only association that are losing members. All over the place, people are losing members. All the associations are going through this. AI has really turned turn the table for us in many professions. So this is just we show it in ours, but this has been going on all over the place because of the change of paradigm. So I think this is the time to upskill and reskill. And we're going to help people upskill and reskill because it's not, nobody knows how to use AI the same way we never knew how to use a computer. And we little by little, we are now doing things in a computer that we never thought, well, my generation, Geoff and I never thought we would be able to. My daughter is a native. Of course, she doesn't print. Of course, everything's collaboratively all over the world. And that is something for us, digital immigrants, that we have to learn. And the learning curve is high, but it's possible. We're all speaking another language, so it's possible. But so what we want to do is ramp up all the webinars and the professional development. So not only the training center is going to be for AI, but in many other aspects. How can that influences the way you do your business? How everything we want to do and we're working with headquarters because all these, the fact that you're only 2 years, as Geoff can attest, is not a lot of time to do a lot of changes. Sure. So we're all all the new staff has to merge with us, and we all have to learn how to work together easily and make workflows in everything. Professional development is going to be ramping up all the webinars. We're going to increase the business and the AI, and so we're going to empower people to be able to be in this time and defend what we know. Another thing is that we're going to ramp up on standards. One of the things that we can protect ourselves is say, I follow the best practices of the profession. We expect the lawyers and the doctors and everyone, a professional, follow the best practices. So we have to be informed of that. So we're going to give more information, change the marketing, and let people, hey, come and see everything's in-house.
Great. Thank you for that. So now I think we've covered a lot of ground here, and I want to ask one final question to both of you. What are you most excited about for ATA in 2025, and both in terms of the past 6 months, and what predictions do you have for the remainder of this year and beyond?
Well, I know we're going to have a great conference in Boston. That's first of all. I hope as many people can try to make it as you can. And second thing, for what I'm seeing is this strategic planning is really exciting me because we need to be nimble and we need to be addressing the challenges that are coming at us. And the strategic planning that we're implementing at the board level will make a big difference in how we make good decisions to position ATA to be a leader throughout this year and throughout the future.
Great. And Andy, how about you?
Well, my motto is upskill and reskill. We want to be the house that everybody comes and see what is the latest, what do we know, what do we have to know, and how can I be better, and have some webinar for you there. Because like I said, the change of paradigm has upset us, and people are saying we have to educate the public. Not only ATA, but every one of us has to educate the public. AI sounds fluent, is not accurate all the time. So the more that we say that in everything we do, and the people, we are seeing that the hype is going down a little bit now. We're seeing that people are posting a lot of mistakes with ChatGPT, Claude, and so the hype is going down, and this is our moment to speak up. Each one of us, hey, we are the experts. We are the living, not because that Google tell you what you have, you research. I have a stomach ache. Oh, Google told me it's such. It doesn't make Google a doctor. The same way that in a ChatGPT doing some words doesn't make it a translator or interpreter. So it's on us, each one of us, to come to message outside. I think this is a great and exciting time. It's a time of change. It's a time of adaptation. This is the law of nature. Either you adapt and evolve or you die. So we don't like it, but we have to adapt and evolve, and we will do it. It's a future. It's a bright future ahead. I'm super excited about the future.
Excellent. Well, on that note, I'd like to thank you both again for joining us on the 2025 edition of the halftime show for the ATA podcast, and looking forward to seeing you both in Boston.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you, Adam, for your time and for your kind interview.
Thank you so much.
We're happy that we could have been here.
That's a wrap. To learn more about the American Translators Association, including how to join, visit atanet.org. Until next time.